Welcome everyone to another episode of Kart Madness, the double elimination style Mario Kart Tour multiplayer tournament hosted by Jack the Dark Blue Yoshi. This is the final round of the tournament, taking place between the Jungle Juggernaut featuring yours truly. In addition to Philish, Isai, and Bolt, we'll be going up against the team captained by Draco with the Mushroom Legacy. He'll be joined by David Games, Mike, and Tyler. Being that this is the final round, I want to provide a massive thank you to Jack the Dark Blue Yoshi, who hosted and put this entire tournament together. He is fundamental to the Mario Kart Tour community, and link will be in the description below with his channel. He's very close to the YouTube partnership. It would be great for all of you to go and support his channel in addition to Draco. Alright, let's get into the footage for this. The very first race is going to be on Yoshi Valley R. Now do keep in mind that this series of races took place during the Yoshi Tour, which was a part of the 2.5 anniversary. I'll be going in with my favorite driver here, Donkey Kong Jr. I'll be pairing him in the Egg 1 kart. The Egg 1 is very good for multiplayer because it has Mini Turbo Plus, which is the ideal kart that you want to use on non-trick variants, or at least courses that don't have distinguishable characteristics that involve jump boosts and dash panels, which would sway your decision into using a dash panel plus kart or a jump boost plus kart. As well as the mushroom glider here, which is going to be ideal in most situations because it provides a small opportunity to pull that item at an increased frequency in first place, which can help you dodge spiny shells, in addition to greatly increasing the chance of pulling that item in the middle or back of the pack, in which case you have full access to all of the shortcuts on these tracks, and Yoshi Valley is certainly one with plenty of shortcuts. So let's go into it here. We're starting off, and everything always has to coalesce right at the beginning of the race, so we can see I run into a trailing item there, but I have the shroom to take one such shortcut. And once again here, this is a point that is higher level multiplayer in that you kind of want to space out there, right? Everybody's on that same optimal line, and it wastes me time, in fact, by following along that and hitting the trailing item there instead of just spacing out a little bit wider. But in this situation, you know, we play it out as such, and actually I'm taking the rightmost path here, which is the second best actually in multiplayer. You want to take the left path that goes between the barrels. That is the quickest path, especially on our version, because the set of item boxes is a little bit closer up too, which will provide you a sooner opportunity to chain. But we can see I take the massive shortcut there and establish second place position. So this is a comfortable race. If you're part of a team, which we are doing here, the mindset is a bit different in terms of item usage. You want to make sure that you're gauging the relative position of everyone in the race. And I can see here I have a teammate in front of me and a teammate behind me. Isai accidentally fires his red shell and gets caught up in the blast from my bob-omb, which doesn't ultimately end up affecting the position, fortunately, and I take the shortcut here. And it's a pretty good display of what a top 3 finish should look like. You know, holding on to the items, being conservative. You know, sometimes things can go awry a little bit, as it did there, but it's still, you know, working out the different contingencies that are available to you in the race. The next race up, we have 3DS Bowser's Castle. I'll be going in with Donkey Kong Jr., opting for the Jump Boost Plus kart here. It's pretty close between Jump Boost and Mini Turbo Plus, being that the relative number of jump boosts that exists in the court is quite similar to that of Mini Turbo. In particular, the reason why I opt with the Jump Boost Plus kart is because of this long gliding section at the very beginning, and you get a jump boost to start the gliding path, and of course your kart is slowest when you're gliding, so to have any kind of a boost through that slowest of all sections, I place greater significance on that than the extra small little boost that you pick up from all of your mini turbos here. So we take top 3 position here, and then we're off to the races, and I pull really nice set of items here. Triple bananas, We see Isai take that short, soft little shortcut through there. I drop the triple bananas behind me, And I only do that, folks, because I see all 4 of the trailing players are from the Mushroom Legacy. So they're going to take the hits from those triple bananas. And fortunately, I roll another set of triple bananas there. Bolt is in 8th place. He is playing for shock control in the back. He's purposely sandbagging this race in order to increase the opportunity for us to hold the races only lightning. And this is just really solid overall. We do see that Philish bumps off one of my items here, but it kind of works out because I managed to pull out a mushroom here. I take the cut, but I accidentally tap the mushroom, which gets me to forego the jump boost there. It's a little bit unfortunate, but that sort of thing happens all the time in Mario Kart Tour. Now this is interesting because I get hit right here, and I'm not sure what's going on because Draco overtakes me. However, Philish said that he had double reds, fired them upon Draco, and that's why I finished in 3rd place. So see, this is the information that we're not always privy to. If you're playing in single player, if you're going for Kart Pro and you're playing in multiplayer and you're like, this isn't fair, what's going on? You know, sometimes the connections don't show exactly what the action is that's occurring, but rest assured, those items are being played out correctly. It's just how our connections pick it up and being able to identify it visually in the game. The next track up we have Donut Plains 2, and once again be rolling with Donkey Kong Jr. back in the Egg 1 because this is a track that has very few jump boosts on the Monty Molehills, and for the most part you want to maximize the mini turbos. And of course this track is essential for pulling the shrooms because there's so many shortcuts, so many in fact actually. There's a few things I want to point out in this race with regards to that. So let's go into it here. So for the first box, we end up pulling a green shell and a banana. End up going off-road a little bit from the bump, which isn't significant. I don't really fall behind too much from that. I managed to pull a red shell and a shroom. And here I have the shroom hit on the trail, and I take the wrong shortcut. This shortcut right here is the optimal one to do. It works out in my favor, being results oriented here, in that I pull another shroom. But had I not pulled another shroom, then that would have been a loss in time overall. So if you are pressed in those situations and you want to guarantee yourself that shortcut for the maximum amount of time saved in the final lap in particular, which I do the same thing again here, where I take this cut and end up, in this case in particular, getting very lucky because I'm in 3rd place when this roll occurs to get the shroom. The first lap I was far behind, so it was an increased chance to pull the shroom in lap 1, but especially in lap 2, it would have been wise to hold on to that and then apply that on the final cut there. We finished top 3 again. At this point, we're in an advantageous position. We're moving on to Yoshi Valley, the normal version. So once again, we're going to be talking about the different routes in that and the way that you kind of want to approach it. The setup for the normal version is going to look very much like the reverse version. Go with your best small hitbox mini turbo kart, and of course the mushroom glider here. So in this situation, we're going from reverse, but it's important to keep in mind that the item boxes are before and after the paths divert and converge once again, which means that there aren't any additional implications with which to choose which path to take other than time itself. And we now know, having been several months after these races were recorded, that the ideal pathway is to go in the normal version now to the right through the barrel section. There's actually a few jump boosts that you can take there, and it's approximately 1 second of fewer time there. So we see I take the shortcut here, as did Isai, and we are in very good position in this race. So if you were going to go to the right, you'd go there, and then you'd take the left path after going right. But as played here, we go to the left twice, which is certainly a very good path to take still. It's only marginally slower to go through here. And this is a fascinating spot to talk about because you can see that I'm holding on to the shroom in the green shell, and once again here I get red shelled and I don't use the shroom, right? And that's because I see that Philish is immediately behind me, and additionally it works out because Bolt had the shock, but I really wanted to hold this shroom, kind of going back to the mindset of the Donut Plains race that we just had, and that guaranteeing that cut, and this cut in particular is a very, very good one. So I did not want to risk the chance of not having another shroom for that situation. It definitely saves time with regards to using it for the cut versus using it immediately after being hit upon by that red shell. And of course, the added luxury of having a teammate in position to back you up further validates that point. The next race we have is 3DS Daisy Hills RT. This is a very rare track, and I'll be going with the Jump Boost Plus cart, given that it is a trick track, and that's ideal in this case. The amount of jump boosts in this course far exceeds that of the dash panel, so that is not a consideration in this case. There's a few little nifty shortcuts that you can do here. We can see I get hit. Don't use the shroom. And I do have a bad line on this. You want to go over to the right-hand path there, especially with the shroom, and it would be much, much quicker. And I missed that in both lap 1 and lap 2. So I hold on to the one shroom, and that's to be able to take this cut right here, which I do. And now I have the star, and I'm going to hold on to that actually for this upcoming section here, which is further assisted because I have Isai protecting me. And I'm going to hold the shroom once again. And Philish actually gives us the ideal play for this section right here. So this is what you want to do. You want to bypass the balloon and go all the way over to the right there and take those dash panels, and look at the difference in time there. He definitely made some extra ground on me in this spot. And he also has the shroom, so we're both taking the cut here. Our lines are holding steady. And at this point I have double red protection, and we're just going to hold on to that to the very end. Now that I see Draco come into frame, I fire them immediately at the end just in case my connection is slow. We've seen some things there, but it appears that my visuals were on point, and I pull in that second place finish. So in terms of the points, we're pretty much secure in this one. Moving into the final race, and I just want to thank all of my teammates on this. We have Isai, Philish, and Bolt in this one. Philish and Bolt took place in all of the rounds of play. Isai has been amazing. He's really a superstar in this game. We've also had Alpha 69, who is an exceptional player in his own right, as well as one round we didn't have any available players, and we had to seek the assistance of Hilton, who is a professional when it comes to multiplayer. All right. Final race here, we have Maple Treeway Tea, and I was like, I have to go with Funky Kong, right? It was the first time all tournament that I used Funky Kong. I'll provide an entire playlist so that you can watch each of the rounds unfold. Started off against Jack the Dark Blue Yoshi's team, and we played against the Frenzy Fans, Shy Guy Kart. That was a really spicy one. We were going up against Hilton in that particular one. And we also were going up against Speedy too. That was a nail biter to say the least. So here we go, Funky Kong, let's do it, man. You know he wants to pull in that dub for Team KG here. So let's see how he gets it done here. You know, the boss was like, KG hasn't won many of these races. I got to show up and bail him out here. Give him a good one to finish off on, right? So in this situation, I'm going to pull the Bob-omb here. And what's relevant is that Isai once again either accidentally fires the red shell into it, or I wouldn't imagine that would be intentionally, because it was close cluster there with Philish. But that provides a massive front-running situation now. where Funky Kong can just flex and do his thing pretty much the rest of the way through. One thing to note there is that you see I took the air vent. That's actually the slower way to go through this. You can avoid the air vent entirely and it's much faster. And there's actually a shroom respawn point that is enormously fast that you can exploit using that exact line there. But again, you do want to be taking that path and avoiding the second air vent and all that stuff to the right entirely, which runs counter to the logic and the thinking when you're playing single player in Mario Kart Tour. And I think that's one way that the casual player or even just the entry-level enthusiast for competitive multiplayer can really take their game to the next level, is thinking about these courses in terms of time trial, the quickest time in order to complete the circuit rather than the action count, right? Which is the fundamental underpinning of the Mario Kart Tour system. So right here, if you're playing in single player and you want Kart Pro, you're going to drop your banana right there. It's very hard to dodge. But of course, we don't want to do that to our own teammates in this particular format here. And Funky Kong is going to get me that dub right there. Very nice way to conclude this tournament. It was so much fun. I really loved all the interactions that we shared. I've learned so much about multiplayer, more than when I started, as I was going through it, just to see how that wisdom was developing. Particularly a special thanks to Phyllis, who took the time each round to go over the footage and point out suggestions on how to improve my line. So oftentimes I found that when I performed in these actual races, it was far less than what I was capable with having after had those discussions with him and then producing this content for all of you. So it was truly my honor to be able to share these races with you, and I hope that you've followed me on this journey and found tips and strategies to improve your multiplayer abilities. The entire playlist will be available for you on the channel in case you're just jumping in now. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, and for more on the latest from Mario Kart Tour, please subscribe to the channel.